Hey guys, Zeus here, and welcome to this full commentary gameplay of Azir. Now, I've actually been playing quite a bit of Azir because of a video I'm pretty much going to finish by today or tomorrow, and it's pretty much a full guide of Azir. Now, right now, I'm going to put up on screen just everything you need to play him. If you want to try, I'll show you the runes I've picked for this game, but what you'll see in the guide is that he can actually go with about 3 to 4 different major runes, which pretty much are Lethal Tempo, Electrocute, Summon Aerie, and Arcane Comment. Now, they all depend on what kind of playstyle you're going for, and mostly the team comp you're up against. And you'll see in this game that I actually take Electrocute. Now, the reason I pick this is I want to go for those really hard trades against a melee champ like Echo. Now, it's from what I found after playing him for about 25 games straight, is that it really does depend on what you're up against. And the runes especially, are you going for a late game? Are you going for that early game pressure like I am this game? And basically I'm going to go over through my mentality as well as kind of what I'm going through as Azir. Azir is it's almost like playing like 2 to 3 champs on his own. You got to like, I wouldn't say he's mechanically difficult, but he's got so many small things that you've got to just constantly keep an eye out for, which is your positioning of your soldiers, the range that they're in. As you can see, they've got that circle around them, and just knowing where you can Q and where you can E. And he's got a lot of vulnerabilities as well, so keep that in mind. And with laning phases, like I said before, I want to put lots of pressure. Now, usually Echoes, what they do is they Q into the minion waves, and they just try to push as hard as possible. So I'm going to try and punishing him. Whenever he gets too close, I want to get those. And as you can see, I actually, once a soldier, there's a circle around that soldier, and if you can actually hit a minion, it actually, the range goes outside the circle, and I can still get some damage off on that Echo, if you saw that or not. But I hit the minion, and it actually hit Echo outside of the circle, which is really nice. And as you can see, look at that trade. That's a really nice trade early on. You get an auto out with the soldier, your W, you then Q, slow them, and then you get another auto off, and it's an instant electrocute. And that's only one trade, and look at his health. It's quite a nice chunk, and I'm just going to punish him every single time he gets close to that soldier. Just keep autoing him, keep poking him. You have to abuse your strength as this champion. Now, he's got a lot of weaknesses, as I mentioned before, and the meta hasn't been really nice to him. He scales, mid to late is when he gets like the 3-item power spike, and he can just shred things. But until then, you're up against a meta that's just not forgiving early on. But if you can go through that, if you see you've got a team comp that can allow you to, like, I guess, farm up most of the time, then Azir is going to be a nice pick. I probably one of the best champs to play in terms of like difficulty and just enjoyment, and it's a fulfilling champ to master in my opinion. So, all right, so I'm constantly keeping an eye out here. This is more mentality now. I've kind of gone over what I think of Azir in this current meta, but I want to go over mentality. So this game, I'm definitely worried about the Nidalee. She's going to be, I mean, we've got a weak jungler like Master Yi. Obviously, he's not weak mid to late, but right now he's definitely in his vulnerable stage. So I've got to keep an eye out, make sure he's protected in his jungle. And this Nidalee is doing well. She's definitely abusing her mobility and her level 3 power spike. She can do quite a lot with. Yeah, she's got healing, she's got some poke, she's got a nice gap closer, she's got everything it takes to invade. Alright, so I'm constantly, as I'm poking this guy, I'm also keeping an eye on Nidalee. Now, obviously, I'm just going to position here, so always ready. Now, again, she could just go into that Baron pit right there and just jump over the wall and waste my time. Now, this guy could have jumped me at any time, but he's obviously, because I've chunked him so many times, this is why it's so important to abuse what you've got early on. And I've chunked him so hard that he has to think twice before all-inning me. If he was a full health Echo, he would have just gone for a trade right there. Alright, now here I'm kind of sick and tired of this Nidalee constant staying around, so I'm ready to blow out everything on this. Yeah, I just decided to go all in, flash, and this is why I take Electrocute as well. He's got that nice burst of damage. You've always got pressure with Electrocute. If it was Lethal Tempo, probably wouldn't get the kill. If it was Arcane Comment, maybe she would have dodged it, you know what I mean? So if you can go for that Electrocute early, you've got that early pressure, which is something he lacks. Obviously, I have Flash and Ignite too. I wouldn't even recommend. Actually, I'm going to say this now that I actually recommend, and I'll put this in my guide, that anyone below, I think like mid-diamond, take Ignite and get that early game pressure that you need with Azir. There are so many games where I've taken barrier, even though it was the best for the enemy team comp. I feel like that early ignite pressure is just so important that you're gonna pick up so many kills that you wouldn't have got with barrier, exhaust, and all these other defensive summoners. And over here, I know he's trying to push, so I'm just constantly, even though I've got no mana, I'm just gonna auto attack him. So, and he's gotten to the point where he just can't stay anymore. He's probably frustrated that I'm constantly poking him, that he's nearly gave up a kill. And at this point, I just want to push. Nothing else here but just a push. I've got so much gold. I've got the wave pushing, and this is a bit awkward now because if I stop it here, he's going to be able to get like 3 waves, and I don't want to get that. I want to make sure all this wave goes into the tower. It's really important you do this. It's still very risky what I'm doing, but if the Nilly was to come, I've got 1 health pot. I've actually got 2 health pots, a lot of health, and here she comes anyway. At this point, I'm just going to pop my health potion. I actually popped both without realizing, but that's it. She can't do anything. That's it. I had enough health to resist any of her burst. If she hit her Q, she may have had a chance to kill me. And she tries to start my back, but that's why I went all the way back there, just to not waste any extra time. So, again, sometimes you just can't get the perfect backs, but that was as close as perfect as possible. So I'm actually going to skip most of my backs, but for this one, because it's the first item buy, I'm going to go with a lost chapter, and I'll explain that a little bit, I guess, on the way. And he's got to watch out. This master, he has to watch out. He cannot be fighting his Echo at level 6. He's got level 5 now, so he's catching up. But basically, I want to get a lost chapter. I want to constantly push this guy in, and when you want to push a lot faster, you want to use your Q, and therefore mana's just going to be consumed way too fast for me to get Nash's early on. So I really want that mana. You can always go Nash's first for the damage over time, but because they're both very mobile champs, I want to go for a burst sort of playstyle early. With burst playstyles, you usually go Echoes first. I mean, Luden's Echoes. Luden's Echo. And this will allow you to kind of get that nice burst in. Now, this Nidalee is here again. This is not a smart invade just because I've got priority now. And she can dodge all my abilities. See, that's the kind of movement that I'm talking about. Someone like Nidalee and Echo is just constantly going to dash and move around, which makes your placement of your soldiers really important, but it makes damage even harder to hit, because if you want to go for an attack speed, kind of build early, they have to be standing still to get that consistent damage. Whereas Luden's, all you got to do is hit a Q and maybe 1 auto, and that's enough kind of burst to deal enough damage, basically. But if you have, a jungler and a mid laner who's not so mobile, attack speed's great early on, just because they can't really move out of your soldiers, and you can get a few extra auto attacks that you couldn't normally do with mobile champions. So again, I just want to poke him out. I know we killed Nidalee, so I mean, even if Nidalee was to come, I've got my ultimate for Great Peel. I can get her off me. I've got my E up, and the Echo's 30 to 40% health. You've got to constantly be like in a position where you just pressure him while you can. So I can't, like, if I knew where everybody was on the map right now, I would just go all in, walk up to him, and try and finish him off. But here we go, and this is what I'm talking about. Now I'm pretty confident at this point. Even if he was to hook me, I'm I can just ignore him, and I'm just gonna have fun here. I don't really care too much. Pretty confident. If he gets anywhere too close to me, then I just push them both into my tower with my R. But okay, so there is gonna be a potential fight here. I think, yes. So this guy gets really confident. Now there's a problem with Echoes in like Plat and Diamond, and they just don't press R fast enough. Now, I went for that. I think that Electrocute just finished him off, and that burst of damage, as well as if I had pressed R as well, would have been a little bit more, would have been better. Something more consistent, because once you get that knock up, he can't actually press R, which would have been the better play right there. Even though I got the kill, there's always better things you can do. And even though I still have my ultimate, I should have used it. I should have assumed that he wasn't a bad player, and I should have just pressed R, knocked him up, and then he can't use his ultimate, because once Echo is knocked up or CC'd, he cannot press R. So he had every opportunity right there to actually R away. I mean, I don't think he would have R'd away, but he would have regained his health and not died straight away. I also ignited early, so his healing isn't as much when he ultimates. And if you didn't know, Echo pretty much just gains a bunch of health back and goes wherever his shadow is when he presses R. And you'll see his shadow He's actually one of the few champs. Echo is like one of the few champs that you can always tell if his ult is up or down from an animation, which is his shadow. Okay, now I've got blue. This Marcy, I guess he's seen that I'm capable of carrying mid. Now I've pinged him plenty of times to my bot lane, so at this point I'm not going to chase because it would be a waste of time. I'm just going to put pressure and make this Echo miss. There's only so much I can do. There's no point of me following every single gank, and bot lane gets into a little fight anyway. So I'm watching that and I'm thinking, okay, might be a struggling game, but I've got just enough gold now to get a Luden's Echo, and there's no way that I'm going to commit to bot with almost 2k gold. It's just not a smart choice. I see a lot of mid laners just constantly chasing the enemy mid laner. Sometimes it's best to just let it go. Hopefully your bot lane does everything they can. But, you know, they still get 1 for 2. It's not good. I'm currently thinking about how I'm going to carry because I realized my bot lane's feeding a little bit, although someone like Zillion, always have faith in a player like Zillion just because no matter how much they're fed, their ult is always going to be very useful. And as I take this pink, I notice that obviously I can't finish it off, so I notice where Echo is, I see that he's placed it somewhere else, and I know that he's placed it in the other bush. So he put it in the other river. I'm going to now push this wave, so he can't really attack me. If he decides to, you know, go for me now, he's going to miss some CS against the tower, so I have enough warding, I have enough vision to safely take that, and I've gotten like, I think I only get 70 gold for that ward, but he's lost close to 150, and like I could go for a hero play right now and maybe dash in with R, but I don't know where Kai'Sa is. I probably won't even kill, I may not even kill one of them just because I don't know who summoners up, and you know, they've all got, I mean, Echo's still got his ult, so just let your jungler die. Sometimes you just gotta let things happen. There's only so much you can control in games like this. And someone like Azir, as long as you stay patient. Alright, now here's a perfect opportunity. They're very low, and I've got my ultimate up. My team's closing down. Alright, so I stuff up that ultimate. I think Nidalee flashed, and now I'm ready to just follow up with my Q. I hit both of them with a Q. I've got heaps of damage, and Echo just gets the hell out. He just pieces out. I'm ready to keep going with this. And I ignite just in case she gets away. Now, I didn't see that Master Yi coming in. And at this point, we can just take a dragon too. So that was really nice. Kind of collapsing by my own team there, but really nicely played. And I guess I could have played it better. I could have walled quicker. But sometimes I wall people away just to get the knock up. And just because it's sometimes easier. Now, if you wall forwards, you get a little bit more distance than if you were to wall backwards. And you have to be positioned properly to also wall them backwards. And someone like Nidalee, unless you've got like already a nice lead in front of her, it's very hard to catch her, especially if she's running away. So the next item I'm going to start building is Nash's Tooth. And Sting is great. I need that attack speed. Now, I've got some AP, so every auto is going to do a lot of damage. I just need to finish off this Nash's Tooth, and then I'll have a 40% CDR, which is really nice. You'll be able to make heaps of soldiers. You'll be able to spam Q. Your dash will be up a lot more. And it's just the feeling of playing this champion, once you've got enough attack speed, is really nice. There is weaknesses early on, as I explained before. If you just rush attack speed, something feels lackluster, especially against mobile champs where you know, they'll just move out of your soldier range and there's not much you can do. And as you can see here, look, I'm going to be able to spam like so much now. And I think I've mentioned this before as well, but once you've got a small advantage with Azir, you just have to abuse his power, which is pretty much long range poke with consistent damage. Just poke him as much as possible. He's going to hate me. Like, I would hate to be the Echo right now. A fed Azir who's like in your face and your jungler's like not there to help you sometimes. I mean, to be honest, Nidalee did come a few times, so he did have his chance to come back, but it was that early fight early on that gave me a nice little lead, and you just got to keep abusing him. That's what I've realized with this champion. His strengths are really good once you're ahead, but his vulnerability and his weakness is just pretty much getting to a point where everyone's fed and you do 0 to no damage, and your immobility, inconsistent damage as well. If they just keep dodging, then it's very hard to get your damage out on this champion. So I'm looking at this and I'm coming for a kill. Now, Alawi somehow manages to get a kill, and You know, this is the worst feeling when you walk all the way and you're just so close to getting at least a kill. Probably would have got like a bit of poke damage and gotten a kill there, but... So I walked all the way for no reason, really. Maybe I could have walked around into that try and come from behind. Now, I know that Cass and most players will always come and try to back here, so I'm just going to waste their time even more. I know what it's like to get my back stopped, so I do the same to someone else. And I'm going to take out 3 soldiers here, and that gives me the increased attack speed. Look how fast I take this with Alawi. And that's it. I mean, I still came, we still took tower, so it was worth it. Even though I didn't even get an assist or a kill or anything, just getting that tower and getting that bonus goal for the whole team is always worth, in my opinion. And Echo doesn't even take mid tower, so 100% worth. And getting blue now, and at this point of the game, it's, as I mentioned before, my chance to carry. So as long as I keep safe, try not to do anything too stupid, because again, once this, like, you'll feel fed once you start doing well on him, but once you go in hard and you miss an ability or they flash, you'll realize how vulnerable this champ really is. I'm able to complete my Nash's Tooth now. So in a very good position. We do a lot of damage, a lot of burst, and a lot of consistent damage. And the attack speed as well just feels really good. So at this point of the game, it's about remaining calm. We're slightly ahead anyway, so it's sort of... I mean, the kills is not what I'm looking at, but more of the objectives we've taken. And as you can see here from that score on Kai'Sa, she's 7-1. So it's one of those games where we've got a fed player and they've got a fed player. In my opinion, I think Kai'Sa's got a better chance just because she's a way better champ in this meta than Azir at the moment. But at this point, I'm feeling very confident too, just because I've played so much Azir lately. And I've realized what he's weak at, what he's good at, and I'm just going to play to his strengths. Now, I want to fight for this. And I want to fight for a lot of things. I cannot walk through that try just because they have the advantage on me. And at this point, I want to fight because if they stay, we're gonna fight because Master Yi is here. Now, all he had to do was Q onto her, but he doesn't, and I was confused. I was like, "Oh, this guy's going in," and he just Q's the minion wave. Made no sense to me, but that's fine. And I actually tried too hard, in my opinion. Here, I could have just taken like the farm mid and pushed. But at this stage, I'm actually thinking, you know, I got to do something. Otherwise, my team's going to keep falling behind. And sometimes that's the wrong mentality. And you'll see here as well why it's the wrong mentality, where I'm trying to do way too much for my own good. So at this point, I'm just like, I'll just get this. And Zillion was there to see. I just rushed too many things here. So I'm getting impatient at this point. And, you know, I didn't have to flash. Zillion had me covered. And obviously, I don't want to give away my bounty at this point either. But Zillion had me covered. I didn't have to flash, and I didn't even have to go for that dragon.